Hello, and welcome to another Nimble video tutorial. What can I say? Season 3 begins now. So, I haven't touched the Nimble code for over 5 months. And I started looking at it, the first time I touched it was about 2 weekends ago, and I played around with it this past weekend. And the one thing I noticed is that the code itself is organized and designed really well. When I got back into the source, I was able to spin up, get my head wrapped around some cool ideas to work on, and also gather up the content of things that I want to talk about for Season 3. So the theme of Season 3 is integration and quality. Today, we're going to be using version 5 live as I talk about some of the integration libraries that I have included with Nimble version 5. In a matter of a few hours, one Saturday, I was playing with this really unique tool, and I decided to open up one of the .web formats and bring in or start editing a new editor, Ace Edit. And after I was able to get it working so easily, I kind of got really not addicted, but I was really intrigued about doing more and more. So by 3-4 hours of sitting on the computer and just editing web files and looking at content and searching online, I was able to do like 17 new libraries. I kind of got a little obsessed with it, so I made 17 new libraries to import and interface with Nimble. I wanted to bring that up because I often said object-oriented programming without good interfaces is just spaghetti code. The interface is the ability for the two pieces to talk, and you'll really hopefully get to appreciate that with this first Season 3 video. So today, I'm just going to get right into building. I'm going to build a login panel using version 5. I need a label control and a regular text box or edit control. I'm not going to make them look too pretty, but I'll make them somewhat presentable. You'll have to excuse my typing as well as my broken speech because I have a microphone in my hand. I'm using a Surface Pro, and it's kind of obscuring everything that I'm trying to do when I touch the keyboard, so it's really a little difficult to have all these things going on all at once. One of the libraries that I brought in was the Font Awesome library. I want to talk briefly about how Nimble handles this library in just a moment once I add this last component. Once I was able to build so many web libraries, I decided to add a new tab to the component interface, and this allows for the preview of all the web components or .web files that I have currently built for Nimble. This is the same list that you would have seen if you used the component icon here. I just decided to display them directly on the tab. I got the idea one day when I was playing with Balsamic and just decided to copy the idea of just showing the components, then make them quicker to access. So I brought in the Font Awesome library. It was one of the first web files I edited or created. And I want to bring this up because you'll notice that the Font Awesome library does not show the actual icon. It's just a visual representation. In the future, I may very well convert this particular library to be a native component within Nimble, so that when you change the icon class, it actually shows you the accurate reference to the item you want to see. But in general, custom components do not operate that way. Custom components are usually larger libraries like a D3, a high charts and stuff like that, and you don't want those libraries loaded up as you're trying to edit your application. I want Nimble to remain lean and mean as you're building your tool, and maintain a level of separation between the libraries that you're using and the actual execution. So design time is created to be fast and efficient. So I've got a font awesome icon here. I'm not sure what it is. It should be question mark in the corner. I built a simple login panel. We're going to press F5 and build this guy, and then I'll let you take a look. Start Chrome, and then when I run the app, you get a look at the web login panel that I've just created before your very eyes. I wanted to show you that because you will really appreciate the next few things that I'm about to add. As I said, I built the first .web file for I think it was either Font Awesome or the Ace editor. Then I started to get kind of obsessed with it, and I started searching for really cool things to include. So when I go to my component library, I can bring in a really slick library called Motion.js. And another design choice that I made was, because I'm not loading a library, this particular Motion.js library is not really in a visual per se library, or not in the context of a text box or a icon. You will see it's a special effects library. So I've just dragged this particular control onto the dialog, and now I have the special effects that I have as a standard special effect when you bring it in. You can edit the special effects any way you want, but the idea is that the interface that is created between Nimble and this library, and any library that someone might create, is seamless. We'll build this application. Now when we come back to this panel and we hit refresh, we will get the new dialog with Motion.js on it. What does it do? Well, when you click, you get now a burst-like special effect on the mouse click feature. It will not, the effect, because it was dragged onto this panel, does not work, if you can hear me clicking, does not work on the desktop. It only fires when you are on this dialog. So, as I said, when I started to play around with building these type of effects for Nimble, I got to really exploit some of the key design features of what makes Nimble the best framework available. And I'm going to continue with that idea by loading a new library. Like with anything, this control, when you delete it, you'll get a prompt to remove all web references. That will remove the loading of the library completely from your project. We'll go back to my list of goodies that I was able to include, and I'm going to bring in a new library called Vanilla Tilt. I really thought this particular library was sweet, and I hope you appreciate the effects that it generates. You'll notice one thing different about the Season 3 videos. I'm going to be trying or attempting to do live creation and live building directly in the video. A lot of times I may have set up a few pre-made apps or stuff like that for you, but I want to build these things live so you can see the authenticity of the design. So now when I refresh the page, start the app, you get a new dialog. This one with the 3D drop shadows. The cool part about Vanilla Tilt.js is when you mouse over the dialog, it starts to tilt in a 3D fashion, and the shadows and all the beauty of what this library does starts to show through. Again, the functionality, because of the way Nimble's hierarchy and inheritance is designed, it only applies to the dialog in question, and in its implementation, the default implementation of the library, it picks up all the controls that you have on the dialog in which it's placed, and then applies the tilt shadowing feature by default. So just simply by dragging the control, you get this effect. Wanted to share this one with you. I've got plenty more. Like I said, I did 17 integration libraries in a course of a couple weekends. I've got tons of stuff. I'm looking at SQL.js. I've got some really cool ideas and designs that I'm going to be sharing this season. I hope you're ready. If you're rocking with me, you're rocking with the best. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.